Welcome into Football Guys Sunday Morning Live. I am Joey Wright, joined for the entire hour today. Let's switch them to their right names by Colton Dodgson and Jeff Bell. Adam Hutchison is out on assignment this week. His assignment, getting holiday photos of his family, and I don't regret telling you that because Adam didn't say whether I could or could not. But Colton, how are you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. I was like, okay, I guess I'll try to be Jeff Bell for an hour, but we switched the name, so that's good. Uh,
I'm all
but
for
yeah, I'm
improv
doing
if we
good,
want to
man.
try that.
Yeah. I was like, I can't fill those shoes, but doing good, man. Glad to be here for an hour. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Jeff, how are you? You're here a half hour early.
Half hour early, my entire routine is thrown off. I don't know if I can bring the energy for a full hour. I mean, I'm doing great, Joey. We're here, we're plugged in, we're ready to go. We're ready to help some people win some fantasy games as we get closer to the end of the fantasy football regular season.
Yeah, well, this was a test, Jeff, to see if you would show up a little early. For Jeff and I have long discussed launching a morning show of Coffee Time with Jeff and Joey, or Joey and Jeff. We haven't decided what name will go first. Probably Jeff's name will go first because it comes first in the alphabet. Yeah, or the two J's. Yeah. But yeah, so this was the test, Jeff. You passed. Congratulations, guys. I'm excited. This will be fun today. Let's hop right into the injuries. We don't have Adam here, but we can do our best impression of Adam and try to see what's going on. Read some tea leaves here. So Isaiah Pacheco will be out today. Colton, fire up Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, I mean, until I think we have to, right? I think everybody's there's been some cautious optimism about what could potentially happen with, Brashad Smith. And I think right now it's very clearly like a wait and see thing with him, and Kareem Hunt has to be the preference there for sure.
Okay. Rashad Bateman will also be out for the Ravens. Jackson Dart out. Jeff, where do you have Jameis Winston this week in your quarterback rankings?
Joey, right now I can pull my rankings up and see where I have Jameis Winston. It's taking a while. I think he's a mid-tier quarterback too. I'm hoping that this loads quickly here. He is quarterback 16 in my rankings, and this is following, we'll get to it, but announcing that Aaron Rodgers is out. So I've got Jameis Winston at quarterback 16. Colton, I don't know where Joey went, but we love Joey.
Oh, he said
we'll be back.
Yeah.
And I'm back. All right.
There he is.
The kids left their TV on, and I didn't want that,
No, we held it down flawlessly, Joey. That was incredible.
I was ready to go into the next one. I was just going to keep the show rolling and wait till Joey.
In the private chat, I said, "Be back in 1 second."
Vamp
for a minute.
Private chat.
So Torrey Horton, he's on IR this week now, so he'll be out. I'm out of shape. I just ran I didn't run that far, but whew. So Torrey Horton's on IR. Colton, if you need to start outside of JSN, a pass catcher in Seattle, who would it be?
Yeah, I think the Rashid Shaheed addition is exciting. I think his role in this offense is going to continue to expand, and we kind of saw it evolve a little, or I guess progress a little bit last week. And it's kind of unfortunate with the Torrey Horton timing, right? It seemed like right after that breakout against Washington, or I guess modest breakout, right? He caught the 2 touchdowns, but Seattle kind of dominated that game. But it seemed like, okay, wheels up for Torrey Horton, and then he was banged up. Seattle added Rashid Shaheed, and now I think he's got to be probably the preference if you're looking for a pass catcher outside of JSN.
Yeah, perfect. Brian Thomas Jr. also out today. Jacoby Myers is an option there for Jacksonville, should you need him. Jamar Chase couldn't keep the spit in his mouth. He's out this week. He'll be back next week, not injury related though. So hopefully he sits on the bench, thinks about what he did, and never does it again, because we need you, Jamar Chase. We need you for fantasy football. Marvin Harrison Jr. Still dealing with the recovery from the appendicitis surgery. Hopefully we'll see him back next week. The Cardinals did say that next week we will see Trey Benson return. So take a look at your waiver wires. See if anybody dropped Trey Benson. Stash him in an IR spot if you can for this week, or I think he's worth a bench spot. Jeff, do you think he's worth a bench spot at this point?
Trey Benson absolutely is worth a bench spot. I've got him all over the place, so I'm hoping he comes back, because that definitely when the initial injury happened, James Conner, it was one of those of, wow, this solves a lot of my problems with Trey Benson stepping in here as the main back, and then Trey Benson immediately went out, and so all those problems have been here all year long.
Colton, if you've got to pick a Cardinals running back today between Zonovan Knight and Michael Carter, which would it be?
I think it's got to be Bam Knight, but I'm really not feeling good about it. This Cardinals backfield is kind of a mess right now, and they have shifted dramatically under, or I guess with Jacoby Brissett to like, let's air the ball out, let's break completion records, let's do all of that stuff. So this is like a volume passing attack right now. And if they get into that short yardage goal line situation, Bam Knight might be able to get into the end zone. But I think that's the upside there is who's going to score or who could potentially score. And I think that could be Bam Knight.
All right. Drake London is out. So if there was ever going to be a Darnell Mooney this week, it would be this week. Hopefully we see that happen. Expected to play today. Jaylen Warren is expected to play for the Steelers. Brenton Strange activated off IR with Hunter Long going out. So that is a nice little exchange we get there. Chris Godwin coming back tonight for the Buccaneers. I want to kind of hone in on Ramondre Stevenson here for a second. I know a lot of Travion Henderson fans out there and managers might be a little sad to see him coming back. This week, I wouldn't be so bad. The Bengals run defense has given up great games to multiple running backs in the same game. So I think they're both going to have roles today. So I wouldn't be extremely concerned if you're a Henderson manager today. Jeff, what do you think we could expect from Stevenson, though, today?
You know, I think you made the right point there, and I mentioned that on the matchup preview show with Dave Kluge, that given this matchup against the Bengals, I'm playing Henderson regardless. So it's almost to the point where I don't really care what the split is going to be this week. I'm going to use this as a week to figure out what really is the split, because I'm going to play Henderson in this matchup in almost every single situation that I possibly can. Even, and we talked about it on the DFS show this week, that having Ramondre Stevenson back might be a gift in DFS because you might run into a lot lower ownership, whereas Travion Henderson probably would have been the chalk across the board previously given this Bengals matchup.
All right. Excellent.
I think Stevenson is just an emergency flex if you really need it. And I think Henderson still scratches running back one upside is my initial read on Stevenson's return here.
Perfect. I feel bad for our viewers. I did a flex when you said flex, but because our windows are so tight now, you couldn't see it. So, oh well. Joe Burrow not expected to play today. He did practice a little bit. They are expecting him next week. So get excited, Joe Burrow managers. He might be coming back. That's me. That's a man in the mirror call right there. All right. And then questionable today. Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy is questionable to play today. It does look like he is going to go, but they are expecting him to be limited. So if you're starting Xavier Worthy, if you need a floor play, I guess that's a fine move. But if you're needing any type of upside, maybe look elsewhere on your team. We do now know Josh Jacobs will be out today. So is Emmanuel Wilson next man up, Jeff?
Yes, Emmanuel Wilson should be next man up. I think Chris Brooks could take some passing down backs or a fair amount of passing down back snaps, but we've seen LaQuinn Allen, we've seen Samaje Perine be in a passing down role and hardly touch the ball. That would be my expectation. Emmanuel Wilson approaches double-digit touches while Brooks is on the field for passing downs, but maybe gets 2 or 3 targets, a rush or 2. But I think Wilson is definitely the one you want to go.
All right, Aaron Rodgers also out this week. We have that information now that we didn't have an hour ago. Colton, I've never said a nice word about Mason Rudolph on any show. Are you able to say anything positive about him playing today?
Man, I'm kind of following your lead on that. It's one of those situations where like this has been an offense so predicated on getting the ball into, receivers' hands and letting them make plays after the catch, that sort of thing, right? Both Jaylen Warren and Kenny Gainwell have been big for yardage after the catch as well. I think this is going to be like a very quick read, get the ball into Mason Rudolph's hands and out of his hands immediately type of offense. And what does that look like in terms of like, can DK Metcalf break one? Can somebody else make a contribution and help him out a little bit? That's my initial read on what this could look like, but whether or not that leads to production is an entirely different question altogether, I think.
All right. And Kenneth Walker and Alvin Kamara, both questionable today, but they're both expected to play. All right. And then, we don't want to get into that yet. We'll just start to the
You
week here.
spoiled it, man.
At the midway point. Nobody was looking. They were all looking down at their phones for a second. You're watching us here on the Football Guys Live YouTube channel. We want to thank you so much. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching us on Twitter, welcome. Twitter was down for the first 8 minutes of the show. It's finally back up. So if you're watching us on Twitter, we're happy you're finally here. Sorry if you were frustrated trying to get in there. Not my fault. I don't run X. Elon, let's work on that. And I come in peace, Elon, please. But don't come at me. All right, guys, let's get into these questions. Jeff, can you run the slides? A little peek behind the curtain. Are you able to? Do you have the capability to do that?
Should maybe be able to.
Yeah.
Joey, pretend I've run slides before. How would I do that?
Just look on the banner on the left-hand side.
Yes.
And there's a little, you can click it. Can you click it through? If you can't, don't.
I just did it. I just clicked it. How do I unclick it? Oh, there we go. I got you now.
Beautiful. All right. Look at that. Working in
that
real
level
time.
Of access is unrivaled, man. That's incredible.
I'll tell you what. All right, Darren's in here. First one of the day. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Real quick before we get into stars and sits. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Did I do this last week? No.
Not to me.
Colton, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Oh man, I'm a big sides guy. I think.
Okay.
I think turkey's a little overrated, if I'm being real. We usually, potatoes are just so versatile. I'm a big mashed potato guy.
Yeah. Jeff?
I think Colton's in the right category, even the right tuber family, but I don't think he got the right one there. I think that it needs to be the sweet potatoes with the marshmallow topping is the best.
Okay. I respect that. It's a good call.
You guys both brought good sides to the table. I'm going to bring my favorite side to the table. Joey likes himself some deviled eggs. I hold my family record, 23 halves in one sitting.
Person shouldn't do that.
Nope.
I hope nobody tries to
not healthy. No, I've not felt. I hit 23 and I never felt like I needed to go there again.
Was it the intention to get to 23, or was it one of those? I've ate deviled eggs at this point, and we're just kind of bored sitting around the family. I wonder what I can do. And then once you get to 15, you're like, I gotta keep pushing this. So is that kind of how it played out?
My uncle was, pun intended, egging me on to just keep going. And he's like, Joey, there's more left. You can get more in. And then I was not with my wife at the time. I had brought another date to Thanksgiving, and this was before my wife and I had met. And I just blew up the car on the way home. And she never called me again because it's fart city in that car.
I was going to say, was she
in the wrong way? No, not at all.
I mean, the real root of the question would be, is this a right family tradition that every single year we have the egg eating contest at Thanksgiving, or is this a one-time poor decision that the family has talked about for the last 20 years?
One-time poor decision. However, there is that scene from Parks and Rec where Ron asks, will there be, if he brings his own deviled eggs, will there be ample fridge space available? And my family is like, that's Joey. He has his own plate of eggs in the fridge that no one's allowed to touch. And I'll still put down a dozen because it's my favorite side. But yeah.
I'm concerned that you don't understand what I said. I said all the bacon.
Yeah, exactly. I have all the eggs and bacon. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into your starts and sits. You're not here to hear me talk about eating about eggs. All right, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving to all, to the American friends. Thank you, Darren. At PPR, would you replace Pittman with Addison, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Christian Watson? Colton, any replacements going on there?
Man, Pittman's been so good with Daniel Jones. And this offense has kind of come back to earth a little bit recently with Daniel Jones, but I still think his role in this offense is so valuable. I like Christian Watson a ton this week. That would be that would be a situation where maybe I considered it, but that would be the only. I think it would be Pittman and then Christian Watson, but that gap is pretty close for me.
All right, I just want to hit this because I saw it. Good morning, my sweeties. RSVP, please, if you're coming by for Thanksgiving. Grandma Ma's room sleeps 3. Oh dear. Yeah, we could put that one on. Happy Thanksgiving to you. We appreciate you being here. And hopefully I love that they got a dog in the photo now. Oh, it's so good. So good. All right. Go back up to the top. All right. Jay Blaker got a dog on the photo as well. Good morning and happy Sunday. My opponent has Christian McCaffrey. Would you start Purdy over Lamar to offset CMC's points? Jeff, what do you think about that strategy?
I think you're overthinking it, to be honest. I think that Lamar Jackson has a higher ceiling, and to offset Christian McCaffrey, you just want to have the most points possible.
All right. And one more, PPR flex, pick one. Chase Brown, Quinshon Judkins, or JMO? Thanks, Colton. Pick one.
Oh man, this is a good question, but Jameson Williams has been so good. He's the wide receiver 2 in half PPR right now over the last 3 weeks. Like, he has been unbelievable since Dan Campbell put the readers on, man. Like, I don't think you can go away from Jameson Williams right now.
I like that little turn of phrase you gave us there, Colton. Very good.
There you go.
Now I'm the 30 funniest person in football, guys. All right. Good morning. I need any combination of 2 from this list. Ken Walker, Zach Charbonnet, Rachaad White, or DJ Moore. So we'll get to the tight end question in a second. Jeff, pick any 2 from those 4.
I think if you're just looking for safety here, I don't have a problem playing both Seattle running backs against this Titans matchup. Hypothetically, Seattle should dominate Tennessee and lead on the run game, give both backs the ability. You're definitely going to want to play Ken Walker. I think if you need a little bit more upside in full PPR, probably more upside might be DJ Moore over Zach Charbonnet, or if you really wanted to split your risk a little bit, White. But I think that overall, as long as if safety is consideration at all, then Walker and Charbonnet.
Yeah, and then I like Brenton Strange for the tight end. I need to move him accordingly in my rankings. We've seen Trevor Lawrence really start to lean on his tight ends, and Brenton Strange has had some nice work there.
Luke Musgrave got benched last week at halftime. He didn't play after halftime. Luke Musgrave cannot be a consideration in your fantasy lineup right now.
Bingo. And I want to give some flowers to Jeff. If you were watching, and maybe this is how we'll segue to Narrative Street this week, so get it ready, Jeff. Jeff dropped the big ball on us last week with Sean Tucker, saying, the connection with Syracuse being less than an hour away from Buffalo. I don't know if my timing is correct on that. If it's the hour, it might be a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But Tucker went crazy last week. 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards. Good job, Jeff.
Thank you, Joey. We occasionally get one right, and I'm good for the rest of the year, so I apologize to all the people out there.
That's all right. Well, I'm going to write down the ones you say today, so which I normally do that, but I really wish I would have. You said a Bucks player, and I was just like, can't play with my heart, but maybe I need to play with my heart a little bit. Take us down Narrative Street, Jeff. What's going on this week?
Yeah, so we got some revenge on tap here. Christian McCaffrey has been mentioned already on the show going up against Carolina. So that's a fun matchup. Christian McCaffrey against his former Carolina Panthers. Joey, your guy, Baker Mayfield. I don't know if revenge is quite adequate here because the Rams kind of saved his career, hypothetically. Had that weird Thursday game where Baker played within about an hour's notice and had a great game. And now he's going up against the Rams in what is a really big NFC matchup. We've got Aaron Jones going back to Green Bay. I know last year there was a lot of motivation for Aaron Jones around Green Bay. I'm going to guess after this one season, the feelings haven't cooled all the way off. So we do have that one. Tyrod Taylor started his career as a Baltimore Raven. He's plugging in as the starting quarterback for the New York Jets against the Baltimore Ravens. Smaller ones, you have Cleve Raymond, Detroit Lion going up against the New York Giants. And then I think some things to watch here this week. Dak Prescott can become the Cowboys' all-time leading passing yards in the franchise history, passing Tony Romo. He only needs 159 yards against Colton's Philadelphia Eagles, but Colton's Philadelphia Eagles defense has been excellent. So maybe they do push to that. Derrick Henry, it's really wild. Derrick Henry can go from 15th to 11th on the career all-time rushing yard list. And so he can pass Marcus Allen, Edgerrin James, Marshall Faulk, and Jim Brown on his way to moving up to that. So that's kind of wild that the guy can go from 15th to 11th in career yards. He only needs 82 yards against the New York Jets to be able to do that. DeAndre Hopkins can hit 1,000 career receptions. We've already had 2 players, Keenan Allen and Devontae Adams, have hit 1,000 career receptions this year. That's only been done 17 times in NFL history. Hopkins needs 3 catches. He's really only needed about 10 catches this year, and we're in week 12, and he's still working on it. So 3 catches might be a lot. And then Mark Andrews, 4 receptions, would become the Ravens' all-time career receiving leader in catches. Last week, he passed Derek Mason for both. last week he passed Derek Mason in the yardage total. So some records could potentially fall this week.
Jeff, thank you for all that. That I had put out a message about it's such a cool era to live in with these tight ends becoming like the all-time leading franchise leaders in receiving yardage or in touchdowns. It's really neat. Cool. I like
more numbers I can throw out if you want me to, but
Jeff, I like all the numbers, honestly.
Zach Ertz, one more catch would move him into 5th for the most for a tight end in NFL history. He would tie Shannon Sharp at 815. David Njoku, 5 catches would push him to being 2nd on the Browns career reception list behind Ozzie Newsome. Ozzie Newsome's way ahead, 662. He would tie Dante Lavelli at 386. And then Jackson Smith-Njigba can become the Seahawks for all-time single-season yardage leader today, actually, with 157 yards, would get him up to DK Metcalf's record of 1,303. So week 12, Jackson Smith-Njigba could have the single highest yardage total in Seahawks history today already.
I'm going to pull that crazy Seahawks one because I would have thought Doug Baldwin had the record for one season.
No, like and do you know who actually has the receptions record?
Who?
For most catches in a year.
Who?
Jackson Smith-Njigba. He did it last year. He got to 100, and he tied Tyler Lockett. So
you should write trivia. You tell all the jokes.
I'm telling you, Joey. I'm giving these articles every week. You can read.
I pull stuff.
Have your trivia. You can read my stuff occasionally and get your trivia questions taken care
of. So I didn't know that I would need to pack my bags for a guilt trip for the show this morning. So, but they're here. They're packed, ready to go. All right, let's get back into the questions. Thanks for all that, Jeff. We appreciate it. And I have played the props with Jeff's Narrative Street, and they do pay off quite a bit. So wish I would have done it last week. All right, Salford in here. Good morning, gents. Quarterback choice: Daniel Jones or Caleb Williams? Looking for a high ceiling. Colton, give us a quarterback with a high ceiling.
Yeah, I think because the Bears in the red zone this year. One, they love to run the ball when they get into the red zone, and 2, they haven't been very good when they do decide to pass. So I think that has limited Caleb Williams' passing touchdown upside a little bit. That's the only reason I'm scared off slightly, but I do like his matchup a little more. We have Caleb Williams at QB 11 in our Football Guys consensus rankings, Daniel Jones at QB 8. I do happen to think the floor might be a little lower for Daniel Jones in that matchup. But again, the red zone woes kind of scare me a little bit for Caleb Williams. So I think I'm still going to lean Daniel Jones. He gives you a little bit on the ground. Caleb Williams does too, but I still think I'm going to lean Daniel Jones there.
All right, John in here with us. PPR question: Etienne or Montgomery, Jeff?
Etienne or Montgomery? Give me David Montgomery in a bounce back game here against the Giants in a one of the highest over under totals of the week, with Etienne a little bit concerned about what's going to be the role with Bashaw Tutin plus Etienne being injured this past week.
Beautiful. And then Colton, Saints defense or Jags defense this week?
Oh, I think you can't start a defense against Arizona right now. They might. Jacoby Brissett, he's thrown a couple of interceptions. Oddly enough, that was never really his MO in his career. He's been really good about limiting interceptions. But with the rate at which Arizona's passing, like even if it's garbage time points, they're going to score. So that's where I'm probably leaning. If you have to pick one of those two, you also get Kirk Cousins, and that didn't look so good the first time we saw him. So let me lean New Orleans there.
All right, Waffles. Ahoy! Wandale or Pearsall? Jeff, pick one.
Maybe Wandale in a potential shootout against the Lions, and Pearsall. We've seen targets split evenly between Kittle, Juwan Jennings, and Christian McCaffrey. I don't know that that's going to change. Wandale should get most of the targets from Jameis Winston.
All right, Gabe. Good morning, you beautiful people. That's sweet. PPR wide receiver Devontae Adams or Jameson Williams? Gabe, favorite question of the day so far. Colton, I'm going to give it to you. Pick one wide receiver.
I appreciate that, Joey, because this one's tough, but I think I'm still leaning Jameson Williams here. He's been on such a tear, and it seems like we're going to see more of that given some of the ways that they're utilizing him now.
Now I'm going to tell Gabe, find a way to get them both in your lineup, and Gabe's going to reply with some stacked lineup. But Gabe, try to get them both in your lineup if you can. Both great starts today. Morning, gents. PPR, Charb or Tootin? That's That sounds like a buddy cop duo. Charb and Tootin, Tuesdays on CBS. I don't know. Jeff, which buddy cop you going with, Charb or Tootin?
Tootin, I think the upside is higher with Tootin than it is with Charbonnet. You're really counting on a touchdown here with Charbonnet, I think.
And still sticking with Loveland, Jeff, over Taylor?
I should look at. I actually do have my tight end ranks up right here because I am doing a start sit show. I've got Mason Taylor behind Colson Loveland.
That was just funny. I don't know. All right,
Joey, I appreciate you because you get it, and not everybody does.
Yeah. So I'll go out and say it. When you do a start and sit show and you're talking behind the scenes in production meetings, the first thing people say is make sure you have your rankings up. And it's kind of like, yeah, I'll definitely have that up. This kind of comes with the territory, but it's just funny that Jeff said that. So I laughed. All right. What's the story with Jaylen Warren? I don't know why I turned into Jerry Seinfeld all of a sudden. What's the deal with Jaylen Warren? Start Gainwell or don't get cute. I wouldn't get cute. I think Warren's going to have a good day. Gainwell could have some work, though, too. I said some bad stuff about the Bengals run defense, but the Bears run defense isn't much better. They have a lot of players out on their defense this week.
Can I vamp for like just 10, 15 seconds? So I think with Mason Rudolph plugging in there, I think that you could see the Steelers return to a little bit more of the power run game than what they've had so far this season with Aaron Rodgers. A little bit more vertical passing potentially, which might swing. Jaylen Warren was supposedly fine last week, but they were blowing the Bengals out, and so that's kind of why they kept Gainwell. I wonder if Caleb Johnson doesn't get a little bit more run in a power run type of an approach over Gainwell being a little bit more of an Aaron Rodgers type back.
Thank you for that, Jeff. Mark Madness. It's not that, but it's what it looks like every week. Good morning, gents. Great show. Need a quarterback from Brissett. Ooh, he looked good last week. Darnold or Flacco? Colton, give us a quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's so hard right now to move away from Jacoby Brissett with the volume that he's getting and the approach that Arizona has deployed. I mean, Jacksonville looked great against the Chargers last week, but they've also, I mean, we kind of saw what Davis Mills did to them 2 weeks prior. Like it's a defense that can be had a little bit. And I think Jacoby Brissett could, it has to be the option there. And then do you want me to do the other one too? I can look at it.
I'll tell him to start the kicker, start Cam Little.
There we go.
It's just a good story. Every time he lines up to kick a kick. He's my wife's favorite player. So anytime I get to recommend Cam Little, I'll do it. But yeah, Swift, Dowdle, ETN, and I'm guessing that's Romeo Dobbs sit one, Colton?
Swift, Dowdle, ETN, or Dobbs. So we're sitting one of those guys. Oof, I think at this point, probably Dobbs out of all of those players, I think would be my preference.
That's where I was at. Jason Bigelow. Flex spot 2 between Kamara, Johnson, Wilson, Charbonnet, Spears, and Gainwell. So pick 2, Jeff. That's Quentin.
So
no, that's Juwan Johnson. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to put Michael Wilson on the bench after what we saw last week. Yeah. I know FFPC has some really juiced tight end settings, so I might go with Johnson in that setting with just if it's true to my mind that it's a higher on PPR for tight ends. Otherwise, Kamara, I think is good where you're going to want to go there.
Yeah, I understand why those last 3 players are in the question, but you're going to be picking from those first 3. I agree with Jeff. All right, and he's saying 1 point per reception. Oh, for Mark's question. Yeah, we got you. I think we just pretty much assume that there's some form of PPR in questions that people don't mention it to us. That's almost become the standard at this point. FFPC Big Gorilla. That was my nickname in high school. Pick 2 flex between Johnson, Gainwell, and Walker. Colton, I made you laugh. So you get
this so question. Crazy. That was my nickname too, Joey. I can't believe that.
There we go.
What are the odds? I think here, yeah. Kenneth, it is a basic nickname, I guess, but Kenneth Walker, and then Theo Johnson for me too. I think.
Perfect. Almost read the question without putting it up. Epidemic 619. Hola, mi amigos. 1 week closer to the fantasy playoffs and need some divine wisdom. Well, I left my makeup and wig at home, so I can't give you divine wisdom, but I can just give you some wisdom. Hopefully somebody caught that joke. Half PPR and need a flex between Juwan Jennings and Tyrone Tracy. Jeff, pick one.
Between Juwan Jennings and Tyrone Tracy in half PPR. My friend Steph pointed out, the noted Giants fan, that today is Tyrone Tracy's birthday. So let's go with Tyrone Tracy over Juwan Jennings.
I love that. I have a final flex spot. And it's Tyrone Tracy, or do I start Chris Godwin tonight? And I think I might just throw Tracy in because it's his birthday.
Can we talk about Godwin for like 10 seconds? Since
oh my God, I'll 25 if you want, Jeff.
Yeah, because how do you see that shaking out? Do you see Godwin plugging right back into the slot and putting Sterling Shepard on the bench? Do you see Tez Johnson diminish his role? Because we were definitely disappointed with Tez Johnson last week. Do you see just a ramp up period for Godwin, just kind of a slow get him rolling?
I think had we not seen Godwin return and them not ramp him up and just throw him right into it, I'd say, oh, well, we should expect a ramp up. At this point, I mean, the Bucs are down Mike Evans. I would expect Godwin to get at least 6 targets in this game. I think Cade Otton's going to suffer the most this week. I think that's who's going to see Cade Otton shows up when the Bucs need help. And when their guys start coming back, Cade Otton kind of goes off to the side. So I don't think Sterling Shepard will be out. I think he'll still be in the game, but yeah, I wouldn't believe in Cade Otton. But Godwin, I think 6 targets is pretty good floor to expect for him tonight. I hate the matchup with the Rams. I mean, that's my bigger worry than the talent with Godwin. Oh, I lost the question. I'll find it. And then I said, look at you, early birds. Is that how you see it, Jeff, with Godwin?
Yeah, you mentioned that Rams matchup. I really wonder if they're going to be able to run the ball against the Rams, lean on the pass game there, and potentially be chasing from behind, because we've seen the Rams be very, very good, very efficient. I think the Rams are a very good football team.
100%. If you had to ask me who I think the best team in the NFC is right now, I think it is the Rams. They're the most complete offense and defense. I know you're going to disagree with me,
apologize. No, I'm not, man. This Eagles team is like the most infuriating 8-2 team I've ever watched. So you can say first world problems, champagne problems, whatever, but like, man, it is brutal. So
yeah,
good defense.
I didn't watch. I saw Netflix had Champagne Problems, a new little romantic Hallmark movie. I didn't watch it. Did you watch Champagne Problems, Jeff?
No, but did you see there's a new Bills movie
yes.
that came out on Hallmark?
I saw that.
I missed it last night, but I got it set to record, so can't wait.
So is it supposed to be Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld?
No, I don't think so. I think it's and you know, I sat down last night and I went to try to get it on my television, and I hit like the thing, and it brought me, and being the Bills, apparently there was a Chiefs movie last year that I completely ignored because it was the Chiefs, and of course my guy trying to get me to the Bills movie brought up the Chiefs movie, and it was like, you know, TV.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to the questions. I do agree with you about that. You were mentioning Baker Mayfield on Narrative Street. It's not really a revenge game, but like the way he's talked about the Rams and what they did for him this week has been really lovely to see, especially like on a Thanksgiving week where we should saying how much we're thankful for people. It's really cool to see that from Baker. Seems like a good guy. All right. Gary in there answering questions for us. We appreciate it, Gary, getting in there for us. Flex, PPR, Sean Tucker, Yoshivas, or Burden. Burden's been starting to ramp up lately. Colton, pick one in the flex spot.
Yeah, it's so hard to move away from Sean Tucker after last week, but that matchup is brutal with the Rams run defense. Luther Burden, we have seen him ramp up a little bit, but I mentioned the Bears in the red zone and their inability to throw for touchdowns. You might see, some end around stuff with Luther Burden, but I think his floor is really going to be dependent on the target volume. And while the snaps and the route participation and things like that have trended upward, I maybe want to see a little more in terms of like, okay, are the targets going to come as well? And is that going to translate to more consistent production? So I think all of that to say, give me Yosivas here with Jamar Chase out of the mix.
All right. Michael in here, need to win this week. Needs to start 2 between Jameson Williams, Christian Watson, and Tamara. I don't know who you are. No, they corrected it. It's Kamara. I think Jameson Williams is the surefire start out of these 3. And then I would go Kamara for the second one. I think he's got a good role coming back this week. All right, Gary Phillips out here trying to eat everyone's lunch. No, we appreciate it. We don't mind it at all. Because some people might be tuning in before the show starts and they have to go. And then Gary was in there answering their questions. And then if he was wrong, they'll blame him and not us. And I'm okay with that. Clayton, hey guys, I'm 7-4 and need a W this week. Need 2 running backs and a flex. And full PPR, Kyron Williams, Rico Dowdle, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, and Chase Brown. Colton, give us 3 from that lineup there.
So 2 running backs and a flex, full PPR. Okay.
They're all running backs too. So.
Oh yeah. There's some good running backs here too.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Chase Brown with Joe Flacco. I think he's up to 22 targets in the last 2 weeks. If you're playing full PPR, I think he's going to be an option there. Let's see. Derrick Henry as well, and then give me. Let's see. Oh man, one more. These are such good options. I think this is a good problem to have, man. Like I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna give me DeAndre Swift.
All right, Coastal Elites in a hole. Already down 8 after Thursday Night Football. Should they play Pearsall versus Carolina, Tez Johnson at the Rams, Addison at Green Bay, or Booty at Cincy? And Bob Harris, shout out to Bob Harris' Saturday afternoon show. If you ever get a chance, give it a watch. Bob Harris told us this week that he's a Booty guy. His words. And I chuckled. Jeff, pick 2. Or we guess just 1.
Pick 1. If I'm shooting for upside, Pearsall. If I want a little bit, probably more safeties, maybe not the right word, but Jordan Addison here against the Packers. Target should be there. Whether they're in the vicinity that he can catch him is a different question.
John, morning, fellas. Non-PPR. Need touchdowns. Please pick 2 running backs from Judkins, Walker, and Warren. And Colton, pick 2 running backs from that group.
Yeah, give me Kenneth Walker. And then, it's tough moving away from Quinshon Judkins, but I think this is going to be such a brutal offensive game. I went back and watched some Shador last week, and maybe with game planning, it looks a little better, but it just, I did not like kind of how it all looked. I think it could be brutal for this offense. So because of that, give me Jaylen Warren.
Let's talk about Shador for a second. We saw him for a little bit last week. Didn't look too great at all. Are you expecting a better performance this week than what we saw last week? I guess from the foundation point, just jump from.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know, like he's kind of thrown into the fire a little bit, and everybody talks about like, hey, game plan, like you're going to start and all that thing. That's a trope you hear from so many quarterbacks and players in general throughout the NFL. But like he did seem a little overmatched to me, going through and kind of watching it, but maybe with a week of game planning that could make him look a little more comfortable. That's certainly within the realm of possibility, but it just seemed like anything beyond his first read, or anytime he had to make decisions based on like a defensive look, right? Like maybe a linebacker drops and then you get to your second read. Like it was a situation where when I watched him play, it was like staring down windows and even sometimes throwing the ball well after a window has closed, all of those things, just like decisions that seemed to be like panic decisions almost. And that was just my impression. Maybe somebody else has like a different impression, but there was some second guessing, I felt like, and that makes sense, right? You're thrown into the fire, first NFL action, but maybe a week of game planning helps a little bit.
Okay. All right. Muncie Muns has a question for us, and I didn't lose it because it's right here. Morning, gents. Half PPR, have 2 upside plays, but who's actually going to hit? Christian Watson or Bashal Tootin? Jeff, pick 1.
I think half PPR. I'm going to go with the running back usually in half PPR with Tootin in this situation. We saw Watson the 2 touchdowns last week. Well, Tootin looked really strong with a touchdown last week, so we'll go with Tootin.
All right. And why does it keep going away? All right. Leo. Welcome in, Leo. Always appreciate you being in here with us. Howdy. Would you start Burden, Addison, or Singletary? First time Singletary's name has come up today in half PPR. Colton, pick.
Yeah,
1.
I think Addison is going to be my preference here. Singletary has a goal line role. I will say that seems to be like he's the preference when the Giants get down there. But that kind of creates like some touchdown reliance, which can be dicey. So yeah, give me Addison.
All right. Pearsall or Emmanuel Wilson, Jeff, with the news that Josh Jacobs will be out today.
Definitely Emmanuel Wilson with the news of Jacobs being out. Can plug in a running back there.
Can you tell me where you have him in your rankings or around what other players you have around Wilson?
Yeah, so with Jennings out, I've got him at running back 21. So right around the range of, I have Jaylen Warren at 19, Kareem Hunt at 20, Emmanuel Wilson at 21, Kenneth Walker at 22, and Kamara at 23.
Gorgeous. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Andrea, good morning to you. Andrea is always like incredible. If you're ever watching a show and she's there, she always says hi to you.
Bills.
Yep. There you go. So that's a Bills fan for you. All right. Good morning. 1 point per reception. Flex. Trey Tucker or Kenneth? It's Kenneth Walker. Let's not get too cute. Tedero McMillan or Adunze in half PPR. I think it's Tedero McMillan. All right. Vi Queen, please pick one wide receiver and one flex between Downs, Ramondre, Jordan Mason, Parker Washington, or Blake Corum. Colton, pick one wide receiver and a flex.
Oh, yeah. Let me get on this one. I think we mentioned the Bengals matchup for running backs, and that's where I think Ramondre out of this group could have some nice upside as a flex. Parker Washington, I think some of the trends last week with Jacoby Brissett, and even Tim Patrick getting some run too. Yeah. It was a little like, what is this going to look like now that Jacoby Brissett is up to speed and what are target? And now Brenton Strange is back in the mix too. So I think because of that, I'm going to lean Josh Downs.
All right. Devonta Smith or Romadunze, I'd go Devonta Smith. That Dallas secondary is awful. Bonjour, papas. If Josh Jacobs doesn't play today, shall we start Emmanuel Wilson, Alvin Kamara, or Alec Pierce? Half PPR. Joyous Thanksgiving to all. Thank you, little French boy. Jeff, help little French boy.
Yeah, I just said I've got Wilson above Kamara, one spot above Kamara. Yep. He's going to be the spot here in half PPR.
Why does the little French boy have Easter eggs? Shouldn't he have like baguettes?
Joy, is that? Sure. I don't know. That may be Frenchist to think that it should be.
Is it?
I don't know.
I'm starting to doubt. You know, we might need to see some proof of his. Take a look at that. What's it called? The passport. I'm not sure. We have a little French boy there. Scott against Evil. That horse, is that from the Denver airport? Like, if you've ever been to the Denver airport, there's like the terrifying horse statue. Saying good morning to you, Scott. Sherry Smith. Welcome in, Sherry. Dak Prescott or Caleb Williams. I actually have them very close to my rankings. Jeff, I'll go to you.
I want Dak Prescott and Vegas over-under total for that game is a little bit lower than you would probably like to see, but you can tell yourself the narrative of that Dallas and Philadelphia game shooting out.
Viking, pick one. Tez Johnson, Emmanuel Wilson, Yoshi Voss, or Booty. Colton, pick one.
Yeah, I kind of like where Jeff was at with the Packers split for running backs without Josh Jacobs. I think I am going to lean Emmanuel Wilson out of this group.
All right, good morning, guys. What's up, Jack? Tough choice in PPR. Swift in a shared backfield against a good Pittsburgh defense, or Judkins, who will get volume and any goal line touches on a bad offense with Sanders at QB. Thank you for the context there, Jack. Jeff, give us your unbiased opinion.
I mean, I don't know how much of a particular split that Bears backfield really is. I'm going to go DeAndre Swift because I think that the Bears can score touchdowns. I'm not entirely sure that the Browns are going to be scoring any touchdowns with Shedeur Sanders at quarterback.
That's hot. Very hot, Jeff.
Judkins' efficiency has been horrendous.
It's been
no.
I'm just saying,
after week 3.
Browns not scoring touchdowns. So I agree with you. Yeah, it's been sad. I've got a lot of Judkins, and I was feeling real good at the beginning of the season. Not so good now. Charbonnet or Walker? That's a good question, actually, by Queen, because Walker is coming in with the Q tag. Colton, are you starting Charbonnet over Walker, or are you going to stick with Kenneth Walker?
I think I'm still sticking with Kenneth Walker in this game. I just like the explosive profile a little more, right? I mean, you kind of need a longer touchdown run if you're looking for scoring from Kenneth Walker in this game, but I still think he's got some more upside for extended run and usage, I think, over Charbonnet with a pretty good matchup too. So while you might get like the touchdown upside with Charbonnet, I still think Kenneth Walker can give you a shot at that as well.
All right, Mooney or the birthday boy, Jeff?
Man, in full PPR, I'd probably Tracy. Just Mooney just feels too risky.
Yep. All right, Love or Mayfield for Michael Colton?
Oh, okay. So I think with this match, the volume for Tampa Bay and the way they lean on the pass, I still think I have to lean Baker Mayfield here. Jordan Love has sputtered a little bit in recent weeks, but and then he got banged up in that last game too. Seems like he's fine, but I do think I'm leaning Baker Mayfield here.
Yeah, don't let your love sputter out there. If you're married or you're in a relationship, make sure to go on a date night here and there. Focus on your partner.
I lobbed that one up for you, Joey. You're welcome, man. You slammed it home.
That's why I try, you know. So Sunday's the best day. I agree. Dear football guys, would you start Kamara or Sean Tucker and half PPR? Jeff, pick one.
I've got Kamara ranked ahead, and that really just leans on that Rams matchup being that bad versus the Falcons being a noted run funnel defense.
And I would start Pierce all over Godwin, and I am the Bucs fan to say that. First time, long time. Welcome in. Well, you got a dog, so you know the drill. Would you start Tyler Algier or Michael Carter? The Falcons have just been giving Tyler Algier work, and that's hard to deny. I would go Algier here for sure. Golf Man, good morning, football guys. PPR, please give me two of Genty, Judkins, or Tootin. Pull the two right off the top. Further, would you trade Genty for Chase Brown? Many thanks. Jeff, would you trade Genty for Chase Brown?
In Dynasty, I absolutely would not trade Genty for Chase Brown. In redraft, yes, I would rather have Chase Brown, I think, the rest of this year than Genty.
All right. Chris Godwin or Parker Washington, Colton?
Yeah, I liked what you had to say, Joey, about the Tampa Bay outlook for Chris Godwin coming back tonight. And I think 6 targets in that offense could be enough. I'm just not sure what the split is going to look like with Parker or with Brenton Strange back in the mix for Parker Washington, with Jacoby Myers getting more comfortable. So I do think there is a little more risk with Godwin back, but I do like the outlook, and you kind of sold me on him, Joey.
There you go. I like also when our audience takes our advice. And look, Lucino already on a date with his beautiful wife, girlfriend. We'll stop there. Maybe fiance. So we're happy to see, you guys not letting your love sputter. All right, Carl is just shaving. He's getting ready for the date. Xavier Worthy or Ramondre Stevenson? Jeff, pick one.
If you really wanted to swing for upside, it would be Xavier Worthy. But I think if you wanted to not worry about the injury around there, you just play Ramondre Stevenson against the Bengals.
Oh, Roger's got a good question. Pickens, Diggs, Warren. Half PPR, choose two.
Colton. Pickens, Diggs, Warren.
Oh. Jeff, go.
No, Jeff,
you on Diggs against the Bengals, and then George Pickens. Given the big matchup, the big game we saw last week, you still kind of want to have Pickens in there.
All right,
for the record, that's what I was going to say. So there we go.
Me too. I just read the questions. I don't diagnose them. All right. Trone Force, thanks for being here with us this morning. Thanks for tuning into a lot of our Football Guys shows. We always see you in the chat. Appreciate you being here. Who would you start at quarterback? Lawrence versus Arizona, Mason Rudolph versus the Bears, Winston versus the Lions, Shuck versus the Fountains. Fountains. If he's playing Fountains, I don't know if you want to play him. He's got Olave. Colton, pick a quarterback.
Yeah, I do think you still have to lean Trevor Lawrence here. Arizona secondary is getting some reinforcements. They're getting a little healthier. Should have some guys back on the field this week, but still, I think Lawrence is far and away probably the most talented guy. He's the most talented guy in this group. So I think I'm leaning that way.
Trone, if you want a safe, great recommended fantasy play Trevor Lawrence. But if you like fun, let me talk to you about Jameis Winston. Because boy, you'll have fun pulling your hair out or jumping up and down on the couch. I don't know, but no, yeah, definitely go Trevor Lawrence. But if you like fun, Jalen Warner, Devonta Smith, Colton, pick one.
Yeah, man, watching this Eagles offense week after week, it's like I have no idea what they're trying to do to get these guys involved. Devontae Smith has had big weeks, but it comes at like, oh, okay, now we're going over the top, and Devontae Smith is making a great play on a deep ball. It's kind of been feast or famine for him a little bit. And it has been for the whole Eagles offense, and a lot more famine. So give me Jaylen Warren here, I think.
All right. Craig saying, good morning, Joseph. So I have to answer this question. 1 point per reception. I need to pick one out of this hot garbage group. Josh Downs, Christian Watson, or Greg Dortch. I'll be playing Brissett. I like that you're playing Brissett today. The Jaguars are actually pretty good against the run. Am I going to go Dortch over Downs, though? I think I am. I like Greg Dortch. I'll pick Greg Dortch in this. Maybe he has the week this week instead of Mike Wilson. Dubs, Hunt, or Pierce, Jeff?
I like Hunt here with Isaiah Pacheco out, and actually they're just item came across. Elijah Mitchell is inactive, so maybe that doesn't move the needle potentially. But Elijah Mitchell is closing down on Rashad Smith a little bit this past week. I think you're still going to get bell cow Kareem Hunt.
Okay. Yeah, I think it might have. Was it you that said stop trying to make fetch happen with Rashad Smith?
Yeah.
I watch your shows, Jeff.
So he's gonna have 6 catches and a touchdown and 65 yards this week, because that's how it works in Jeff's world.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that yes, I do consume your content. I might not read every article.
You're great, Joey.
But I try. I really do. Good morning, fellas. And Jeff's great too. He's there for all my stuff. Colton, you're fine. Whatever. You did. We were ragging on Colton. He was on the launch pad with Dave Kluge this week. Make sure to check that show out. I have not got to give it a listen yet. Because Colton didn't say if he shouted me out or not. Was it fun? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of if I shouted you out or not.
It's okay if you didn't.
I don't know. You're going to have to listen and see. And if you get to the end and you're like, wow, he never shouted me out, then I'm sorry.
Then Colton tricked you into listening to his show.
Yeah. At least we got to listen, you know?
Yeah. No, it's all good. Yeah, the Launchpad, great show that we have here at Football Guys. It's one of my first shows that I ever got to do. I remember Dave inviting me for the first time on the Launchpad and brought like my hero, mentor, whatever you want to call him in the industry, Dave Richard from CBS as the co-host. And I was terrified the entire time. But now I'm not anymore because Dave and I have broke bread many times before. All right. Ravens defense or Browns defense? Jeff, pick a defense.
I want the Browns defense has been excellent all year long. You're getting Geno Smith, potential for a couple of interceptions, maybe, and even a defensive score might be in there. So I forgive me for previously saying the Browns might not score touchdowns, because the defense absolutely with Geno Smith could score touchdowns.
My NFFC team, 350, is a Browns defense all season. It's been nice. Wings just came into my house, everyone. That's why you saw me perk up. I smell chicken wings. I'm very excited to have some chicken wings today. 1.5 point per receptions for running backs. Emmanuel Wilson or Aaron Jones, Colton?
Yeah, we have them ranked in our consensus rankings. We have them ranked back-to-back. Emmanuel Wilson, 1 slot ahead of Aaron Jones. And I tend to agree with that. I do think I'm going to lean Emmanuel Wilson.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, I want to talk.
Sorry, real quick. Did we answer Irish's question? He put in the chat no answer. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Did I just start rambling?
I wanted to make sure.
Bad today.
No, you're good. I just wanted to make sure we got to him.
That's why we're here, to pick each other up when the other one misses something. Good morning, fellas. Clover and turkey, because lucky Thanksgiving for everyone. I don't know. PPR, would you drop Fannin for Hunter Henry or Jawan Johnson this week / rest of the season? Colton?
This week, Dave Kluge, you mentioned the launch pad. He kind of sold me on Hunter Henry this week against the Bengals. The Bengals have been atrocious against tight ends. I don't know. The rest of season outlook is a little dicey, I think, for Fannin, just based on what's happening with this quarterback situation. I mean, Dylan Gabriel has a concussion. He should be back. I don't know if I'm going to make any rest of season calls, but I definitely think this week Hunter Henry could be a really nice start. And shout out to Dave Kluge for the angle on that one.
All right.
Sorry.
We've reached the Kluge quota on the show this morning.
Yeah, I know you were
enough.
Disgusted by that.
Like,
you were disgusted by that.
No, it's fine. Like, I like to shout out our entire team. This last week on Thursday, I got to hang out with Jeff Bell and Matt Waldman on the Audible Thursday Night Show, which was super fun. Like I had a blast.
I got to
don't
do
know
that
if
the
we,
previous week, and I can also say it was a blast. So
Colton
there you
just
go.
moving up companies. Oh man. Wow. All right, let's get to our starts of the week. We've been talking a little Emmanuel Wilson, but Colton, I want you to talk to me about Christian Watson.
Yeah, man. I always try to go like I don't know, like find somebody who isn't like an obvious yes. I have to get them in the lineup as like the start of the week. I'm trying to go a little dangerously, and it is kind of sad that AJ Brown was the guy last week, and that was very much like a if it doesn't happen this week, I don't know if we're gonna get the AJ Brown we want. And that was last week. So anyway, we're turning the page. But Christian Watson this week, 4 games this year, 8 targets of 20 or more air yards. He's caught all 8, 18.4% over expected, and 87.5% of those targets were into tight windows as well. So like we're still seeing the contested catch ability showing up for Watson down the field. 31.8 yards per reception on those catches as well. I think his presence downfield has really helped with this Packers offense that's kind of trying to stay afloat with the loss of Tucker Kraft and all that he does to facilitate that passing game. So I do think he'll get looks down the field. He'll get his share of the targets at 16% through 4 games. That's his target share. And he's maximized the volume, 2.2 yards per route run. So roughly half of his 4.3 targets per game have come on those deep attempts. He's had 2 targets per game of 20 or more air yards. And then when you look at this Minnesota secondary, teams have only thrown deep against them 20 times, but they're 1.67 expected points added per pass allowed on attempts of 20 or more yards.
Sorry.
There you man. I didn't even realize it. Like I should have known.
And your students are going to be all. We got to clip this for Clayton's, for Colton's students. They're going to be all over that.
Yeah,
my kids are going to be so happy with me when I show them this clip.
Brutal. I opened that up, but anyway, that's the worst mark. That 1.67 is the worst mark in the league. And then 21.2 pass yards per play on deep attempts too. So anyway, all of that to say, the Vikings are pretty brutal when teams go over the top. Christian Watson sees 2 deep targets per game. I think that's a recipe for some fireworks in this one. So the Vikings are going to get pressure. I do have to say that. But Jordan Love is going to go deep against the pressure. That's what we've seen. And the Vikings are susceptible over the top. So I like the matchup here, and I'm going with Christian Watson wherever I have him.
Love the start of the week. Warning for the parents out there for the holiday movie season coming up. Home Alone mentioned 6-7 3 different times in the movie. They say it. Weird thing that happens. So just be aware because it's going to happen. Jeff, a phrase, it's all 6 and 7s used to mean you were crazy, but I don't think you're crazy with the start of the week with Jameson Williams.
Yeah, so first off, hat tip to Colton. I don't know that he was wrong last week with the AJ Brown as the start of the week. I think that AJ Brown has had 2 high-profile games where he had 1 target and 3 targets. If you take those out, he's at 8.7 targets per game, which would be the second highest total of his career. I feel like the narrative around him is that the ball's not going to him. The ball's absolutely going to him. It's just that out of fantasy, you either get it from volume or efficiency. If you get both, you get elite production. He's always been on the efficiency side this year. The efficiency has been horrendous, about 63 yards per game, which would be a career low for him. So the efficiency's not been there, but the volume has been there probably more than what we realized. I do want a hat tip to Dan Hindery as well. Dan Hindery was on the DFS show this week with us, and Dan pointed out that Mitchell Tinsley is Dan's favorite deep play. Mitchell Tinsley is made the Bengals roster. Dan is a Bengals fan, very plugged into that team. His expectation would be that Andre Yoshevic's role would not grow dramatically with Jamar Chase out, but instead it would be Mitchell Tinsley stepping in and getting some real opportunities. We saw a touchdown from last week from Mitchell Tinsley that looked really good. So Mitchell Tinsley, have him on your radar there, deep if you're desperate option. My start of the week is.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
My start of the week is going to be Jameson Williams, and I've been all over the board here with my starts of the week. Usually, it is the week before they have 2 touchdowns is my start of the week, but with Jameson Williams, Colton has already mentioned in this show being wide receiver 2 over the last 3 weeks. He's outscored Amon-Ra St. Brown since week 6. we know the explosive ability for Jameson Williams going up against a Giants defense that has allowed the 6th most points to fantasy wide receivers, that has allowed the 10th most explosive plays. They are without cornerback Paulson Adebo, so that opens up even more opportunity potentially for Jameson Williams. And I think we have seen last week was about the only thing that worked for the Lions in their offense against Colton's great Eagles defense. And then we saw the penalty that Jameson Williams drew on the touchdown that caused them to miss that extra point. Jameson Williams apologized like individually to the entire team, basically just kind of went up and down. So I think Jameson Williams feels like he needs to make it up to his teammates this week. Great opportunity against a Giants defense that is very exploitable.
Perfect. Guys, we're at the noon mark of the show. Jeff and I will be done with giving fantasy advice for the day for the most part, but one of us here is going to be giving some fantasy advice in the Football Guys Discord today. Hopefully he remembered that he's on the schedule. I think he did.
No, I definitely, man. I'm pulling double duty today.
See, I just wanted to make sure.
Triple duty.
So Colton was with us for the entire hour today, and he's doing the Discord, the Football Guys Discord. Colton, he's did the launch pad this week, and soon you're going to be community ambassador at Football Guys. Just pushing me out of a job. That's okay though. It's run my course.
I'm just trying to be a Gruden grinder, man. That's all I'm trying to do.
There you go. Jeff, real quick. Are you playing any Tinsley today? I'm just curious.
I do have him in some spots. I'm going to play in some DFS lineups too. I've got him. So
it's evil work there, Jeff. Guys, we had a blast today. Hopefully you enjoyed us being all together for 1 hour. I don't think we need Hutchison anymore. Adam, we don't need him back. Who cares about injuries? It's not that important. No, we miss you, Adam. Can't wait to have you back next week. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy your friends, family, football, all the things that make you feel warm this time of year. I'm thankful for everyone that's on the screen here, or if you're in the chat, thank you for being here. Colton, give some words to the people before you head out today.
Yeah, man. Just you hit the nail on the head. The running theme is being thankful this week, and I'm thankful for all of these opportunities and that I get to hop on every week and talk football with some of the brightest guys and Joey that I know. So. I had to. No, good. You're there too. You're there too. I'm thankful.
I know my role. Jeff, please insult me now, as Colton just asked.
Joey, I never could insult you. The Bills beat your Buccaneers last week, and that's enough for insults for however long we need to go. But I do want to say, if you did not get your question answered, and we apologize, we didn't get through as many questions today as we would have liked, bounce over to that Discord. I personally guarantee that Colton will answer your question. Colton, I have missed your name like 3 times today, and I sincerely apologize.
No, man, we're talking fantasy. We're talking Colston Loveland. I get it. Yeah. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, but I do want to say, Joe, you were fantastic this week on Thursday. And Colton, you were fantastic prior to that. But we really dove outside of fantasy and just talked about a lot of life things in that show with Matt Waldman, and it was great. But I think one of the topics that while we're on the point of Thanksgiving, one of the things that do the things that you are thankful for. Take the time to do the things that you're thankful for, and just don't feel like you're being selfish. Just take that time sometimes, because while we are spending time reflecting of what we're thankful for, sometimes it's important to just do the things you're thankful for. And with that, clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Everybody, we love you. Happy Thanksgiving and have a great week.